Congress submits bill making it illegal to hold cash, Bitcoin, or other assets outside of a bank without informing them in writing. By the Daily Economist. Just as the war on drugs was never actually about slowing down or stopping the import and use of illegal narcotics, so too was the spurious war on terror not about stopping individuals or groups from inciting violence for political means. In fact, we already know that U.S. agencies have funded, trained, and armed the very terror groups that are supposedly on the FBI's terror watch list when they supported them in the taking over of Libya, and in the attempt to take over Syria. So the question then has to be asked, what are the purposes behind the ideological wars against drugs and terror really all about? Well, since the real victims going back to the 1970s when the war on drugs was instituted by President Richard Nixon have been the millions of Americans incarcerated for victimless crimes, and the billions of dollars seized without a trial in what is known as civil forfeiture, then it is fairly obvious who these wars were really focused against. And since the advent of the Patriot Act, which hasn't stopped a single terrorist or terror event following the terror attacks on September 11, the ability of Americans to do as they please with their own money has been stymied in the government's attempt to monitor and regulate every single transaction individuals choose to conduct. However, with the rise of cryptocurrencies, and the new fears coming out that decentralized virtual money could actually start or magnify a financial crisis, Congress on May 25 has submitted a bill making it illegal, and placing individuals subject to asset confiscation and imprisonment, for anyone to have a medium-size amount of cash, Bitcoin, etc., outside of a bank without telling the government how much you have, where you have it, and why you have it through the filling out of new federal forms. You won't believe this stupid new law against cash and Bitcoin. By Simon Black. This one is almost too ridiculous to believe. Recently a new bill was introduced on the floor of the U.S. Senate entitled, pleasantly, Combating Money Laundering, Terrorist Financing, and Counterfeiting Act of 2017. You can probably already guess its contents. Cash is evil. Bitcoin is evil. Now they've gone so far to include prepaid mobile phones, retail gift vouchers, or even electronic coupons. Evil, evil, and evil. These people are certifiably insane. Among the bill's sweeping provisions, the government aims to greatly extend its authority to seize your assets through civil asset forfeiture. Civil asset forfeiture rules allow the government to take whatever they want from you, without a trial or any due process. This new bill adds a laundry list of offenses for which they can legally seize your assets, all of which pertain to money laundering and other financial crimes. Here's the thing, though, they've also vastly expanded on the definition of such financial crimes, including failure to fill out a form if you happen to be transporting more than $10,000 worth of monetary instruments. Have too much cash? You'd better tell the government. If not, they're authorizing themselves in this bill to seize not just the money you didn't report, but all of your assets and bank accounts. They even go so far as to specifically name safety deposit boxes among the various assets that they can seize if you don't fill out the form. Yet another reason to consider storing cash, gold, and silver in an overseas safety deposit box. This is unbelievable on so many levels. It's crazy to begin with that these people are so consumed by the fact that someone has $10,000 in cash. But it's even crazier that they're threatening to take everything that you own merely for not filling out a piece of paper, without any due process whatsoever. Oh, and on top of civil asset forfeiture penalties, there are also criminal penalties. Right now, according to current law, they can imprison you for up to 5 years for not filling out the form. 5 years. But apparently that doesn't go far enough to protect us against evil men in caves. So this bill aims to double the criminal penalty to 10 years in prison. And if that weren't enough, this bill also gives them with new authority to engage in surveillance and wiretapping, including phone, email, etc., if they have even a hint of suspicion that you might be transporting excess monetary instruments. Usually wiretapping authority is reserved for major crimes like kidnapping, human trafficking, felony fraud, etc. Now we can add cash to that list. It's not just government spy agencies to worry about, either. Banks in the US are already unpaid government spies, required by law to fill out suspicious activity reports on their customers. Then Congress started expanding those requirements to include other businesses and industries that might come into contact with cash. Stockbrokers, casinos, currency exchanges, precious metals dealers, pawnbrokers, the post office. According to the law, Section 5312 of U.S. Code Title 31, those industries are also required to spy on their customers for the government. But under this new bill, they want to forcibly recruit even more unpaid spies, including any business which issues or redeems anything that's prepaid. Prepaid credit cards, prepaid phones, prepaid retail gift cards, prepaid coupons. So, Amazon.com, which issues and redeems prepaid gift cards, will be required under this bill to file reports to the government. For that matter, TGI Fridays and Chuck E. Cheese will also become unpaid government spies since they both issue and redeem prepaid vouchers. Truly, these senators have figured out how to strike at the heart of ISIS. Further, their bill wants to pull any business which issues cryptocurrency under the anti-money laundering regulatory umbrella. Here's where these people demonstrate that they have no idea what they're talking about. No one issues Bitcoin. There's no Bitcoin central bank. There's no chairman of Bitcoin who decides on a whim to increase the supply. Bitcoin is created automatically, amounts that are predetermined by its code. It's software. So the Senate is essentially trying to force the Bitcoin core software to comply with money laundering regulations. How pathetically clueless. The bill also attempts to drop a major bomb on Bitcoin by including it in the list of monetary instruments that must be reported when entering or leaving the US. So theoretically, if you leave the US with more than $10,000 in Bitcoin or Ether, you'd have to confess this fact to the authorities or otherwise face the aforementioned penalties, i.e. prison time, civil asset forfeiture, etc. Hooray freedom! As you can see, this bill criminalizes or delegitimizes the most mundane and harmless financial activities, all under the guise of keeping us safe. Of course, nothing in this bill is about keeping people safe. ISIS couldn't care less about forms and penalties. This bill is nothing more than another weapon in their ongoing war on cash, and now cryptocurrency too. Source: Sovereign Man. This article, Congress submits bill making it illegal to hold cash, Bitcoin, or other assets outside of a bank without informing them in writing, was originally published on the Daily Economist and syndicated by the Event Chronicle. The Event Chronicle note, the newer bills with the strips in them can be scanned and detected at airports, detected in the US mail, on the highway, and even within your own home. If you travel with large amount of cash, or keep an emergency supply at home, place the cash within Mylar bags to remain undetected. Winking face.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County COPWATCH with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea, too, that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.